Alrighty, eFootball 24, Season 5. That is kind of late March 2024. Wait, what year is it? Update 3.4. What is the update? What is the current meta right now? Now, before this update, even on top 100, you will see a variation of everything, including position, long ball counter. Right now, because the frontline pressure is way too aggressive, right? Everything is back to the type of really predictable kind of PES legacy 4-2-3-1 meta. I'll give you an example. Top of the chain meta, something like this. It's back to this basically. At some point, this system got nerfed because you need it with, you know? So, and I get it, not everybody likes the system, right? Not everybody is good using the system. You face people who've been playing the system for like 10 years. You can't play the system as good as them. But it's safe. You got no fullbacks, you got a holding DMF, you got a CMF who links up between AMF and DMF, and you got 3 Nauta strikers. The idea is punt it to the final third, pass, cut back tapping, mini through balls, and so on. Now, you can use this system with long ball counter as well, but you have to be patient enough to deal with the frontline pressure. If you face somebody playing quick counter, the frontline pressure is ridiculous to a point where you cannot take a touch. The worst thing to do is trying to do that blind pass in your box to the front. Boom, you're instantly getting countered. So I get it. That great point of aggression, it's for you or your AI make a mistake. That's the whole point of it. And you don't want to play through the pressing. You don't want to play through the aggression. You either pass back to find a space or you're going to punt it out wide. That's why at the moment you see me a lot of time just rebooting the opposition's attack. So in update 3.4, the meta is back to the classic meta in a way. I don't use it that much, but I face it a lot. If you want to counter a meta system like this, your option 2 is to kind of use a defensive balance. Like the best anti-meta right now, it's literally replicating the meta. You know? But with a double pivot. He's got 1 AMF, you got 2, outnumbering him, and so on. You need that CMF to be box to box. Somebody can help out in defense as well with defensive ability. Doesn't have to be full epic team. So you basically replicate it. This is the defensive version of it. Usually if I take a lead after mid 72-0, I switch to something like this. So that's meta number 2. The third one I would say, 4-2-2. Defense on 2 fullbacks. Again, double pivot, destroyer, anchor. I would say destroyer box to box is perfect for this system. It's kind of a defensive. It works with long ball counter as well, by the way. But you have to be good enough to deal with the aggression of quick counter. If you want to make this a little bit more offensive, you can do something like this. So choices in a way, depending on what you face, what you're comfortable with. These are already number 1, 2, 3 in meta right now. Like if you want to take a safe road. Beyond that, 4-2-2 is a little bit problematic the way LMF and RMF work. Again, you get absolutely annihilated to let fullbacks overlap. The only way I let my fullbacks overlap if I play 5 at the back. Not Marino style parking the bus, you know, it's a misconception that every 5 at the back is defensive. If I have 2 attacking fullback and 5 at the back, that means I'm just playing a safe 3-5-2. For example, something like this, I do enjoy using. Got a box-to-box and a fullback. That could give 4-2-3-1 a hard time. At the moment, I'm kind of at the edge of my seat using something like this. I got deep line and offense on Maicon and Roberto Carlos, kind of a spooky's instructions. Aggressive guy here, box-to-box helps out 3 Nauta players. I take the lead, minute 80, switch to 5. Trying to find a system that can dominates what I face often, which is 4-2-3-1. Something like this is dangerous to use for me right now. I enjoy the system. Kind of call this one WM. Call this one the cluster. But the rest of it, it's not really meta. It's just something I personally enjoy. This is a squad where everybody has 1 touch pass. Again, kind of similar thing. The anti-meta, if you face the first meta I showed you, 4-2-3-1 Nauta strikers, you got 2 options. Either 4-2-1-3 with AMFs or switch into this. So I call this setup anti-meta. Now, because I don't trust defending, it doesn't matter how good I'm defending against the guy if I don't let him score. Most matches when I use this ends up I'm either going to win 1-0 or lose 1-0 or 0-0. But 5-3-2, there's no, like 5 at the back, if it's defensive, it's an anti-everything in a way, right? But this is not a defensive one. Like if I was using 2 defensive fullbacks, and instead of Rudzinski and Nedved, I was using box-to-box and more destroyers, that would be sort of parking the bus. But this definitely gives a lot of people, whether they play narrow, front 3, or wide, a hard time. Beyond that, that's pretty much what the meta is, as I showed you guys. FMG stands for Full Meta Jacket. Yeah, we said the trends. And the recovery kind of counters that. And then your third option to take a safe road. There are many other formations that could work, but it's about using something that consistently going to help in the long run, you know? At the moment, going to make a quick squad build. That's another setup I kind of call it cluster with box-to-box flanks, for instance. So let's build that up quickly. You need 2 box-to-box on the flank. I was trying to replicate 3-4-2-1. But in eFootball, to make 3-4-2-1, you have to have CMFs on the flank. Everybody welcome, dudes. Definitely revive, especially with quick counter. What's happening, Razor? Alright, keeper. Since it's long ball counter, I mean, Nesta's not even that slow. Free Nightmare Delicht card, right? He's not even that fast. Do you know, when I face free Delicht, the Nightmare card, I'm more stressed out about that than facing epic defenders. I'm not even joking. Right. Don't exactly need super pace here. 3 center backs. 2 speedy, no need. Let's go with them. Don't use them that often. Now, when it comes to those 2 DMFs, if you face, I always have an anchor and a destroyer, 1 each. But if I face somebody who plays 3 narrow strikers, I will simply go double anchorman to lock the mid a little bit. But they kind of ruined anchorman as well. Anchorman used to stay, that's anchorman's job, to stay vertical like this, to cover this area. But since the couple updates ago, now even DMF moved differently. Your anchorman kind of moves sideways too now. Before, they used to just cover this area. It's like you almost have to use defense on a defensive fullback and anchoring on an anchorman, if you know what I mean. So anyway, but if I face somebody who plays wide, then I'll simply start with 2 destroyers, because destroyers cover horizontally even a little bit more. Got a double pivot here. For this system, the AMF definitely needs to be whole player. Cruyff needs some skills, so I'm going to add Kaká here. Front, I like 2 goal poachers would be the meta. Sometime if an opponent defending very deep, I use a deep playing forward. Kind of drops like a false 9. But personally, I like a combination of fox in the box and a goal poacher. Now, the flanks are really important. They end up in positions where they may score a tap-in. They end up in position when they have to make a crucial pass. And they also end up in positions that they have to defend. So, you need particular box-to-box players. I can't say Getson's the ideal box-to-box here. Like, players like Kante, Barella, legends, let's say, Mateos, for instance. So, that is pretty much the setup. I remember using that often in eFootball 22 as well. It kind of reads as what it says here. 3-4-1-2. Instructions really depends. If I face 4-2-4, usually I use deep line on 1 DMF. But sometimes deep line can cause you shitloads of problems. Anyway, let's go play. We're going to continue from where we left off. We can take a safe road and go with this one. But We did well, meeting a bunch of good players from top 500 to top 1000. So we're gonna go back to what I call it, the triple three. Alrighty, those of you guys on YouTube, comment down below. Hope you find this little short segment useful. You guys on Twitch, questions before we go play. I love how thoroughly you review teams tactic ATC. Thank you, Ayatollah. My coffee's meta, nothing can beat that. You use sweetener? It's 433 meta, 1 DMF, CMF, 1 DMF, 2 CMF. CF? Yeah, it is. It's like any 433 that you have no fullbacks in attack, whether your front is 3 narrow strikers or wide. I think 4-2-1-3 is just the strongest formation. It will not be meta if you have 2 offensive fullbacks overlapping. That just makes it not meta. I will upload this segment on YouTube as well, man. But you have fullbacks. You trying to be cute? This could be risky, but let's see what happens. We've got all the new players. I had to take... Those 2 guys are super sub. I use Martinelli if I get him a CF, man. Doesn't fit the system. On this system, I don't have wingers. I kind of have to drop Xavi Alonso. Really doesn't fit the system.